Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA as we tackle the Tucson Sound Art Cup Series Season 3 finale. Definitely excited to see what all is in store for us here tonight at Darlington. Of course, the finale is for the Cup Series, not the Super Cup Series, which what you just saw that little promo there discussing the top 16 in the points for the Super Cup Series. The actual uh, season for the smaller season here for the Cup Series is actually very close racing. So tonight we'll determine that champion. 7 points separate Kenny Powell and Chris Severa. So it's going to be very close for sure. I do believe whoever wins the race gets 40 points plus stage points. Second place gets 35 plus stage points. So going to be some very, very, very close racing to the end of this thing. So Kenny Powell and Chris Severa are probably going to be duking it out all race long. It's just really going to be a storyline of is anybody going to get out of the way, or are they going to race them hard? Of course, as always, I'm joined in the booth by Mr. Big Al. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, hey, yippee, yippee, ki man. I'm doing pretty good about yourself, man. Just waiting to get this one started so we could get through these stages here, man, and kind of see how this thing's going to play out.
Speaking of stages, of course, we have 84 laps here tonight on the docket. Stages are 35 and 75. We got six sets of tires, five actually down in the pits. Fuel window is 53. We definitely saw that on Thursday. Was the case for sure as we tackled a Cheerwine 250 and quite a long one, 184 laps. I mean, a little bit less guys out here tonight too. I mean, I do believe 13 cars going to be making their way out here. But one thing about that though, Big Out, that means that we're probably not going to have too many cautions. But I guess I maybe should knock on some wood before I say that.
Yeah, I don't think you can forecast that. It only takes two cars to wreck, so I think we might be in for just a little bit of contact and collision.
Qualifying, of course, is happening right now. We have a little bit over 3 minutes left. I do believe Josh Schaffner finds his way up to the top of the board right now with a 29.148. And that's about the times we've been seeing in practice. Guys are really, really close on pace, and we saw some of the guys that raced on Thursday had a lot of confidence. Talking to them kind of after that Thursday race, they were like, "I'm looking forward to Saturday. I can't wait to see what I can bring to the table there." I mean, Darlington at a track that you can easily make a lot of mistakes, and a lot of guys, I think, the actual having seat time at this track, you can't substitute it. Would you say, Big Al?
No, definitely. There's no substitute for seat time. And a lot of drivers definitely saying that they really did like this Darlington that we received here in this iteration.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, we're kind of wondering what Darlington we were going to get. I mean, because we've seen iRacing kind of make a lot of updates to this track, and it seems like this incarnation here was a lot more fun to drive for a lot of these drivers. And it seemed like even versus the Gen 6. A lot of guys like this car a lot better. Said it was actually easier to drive this incarnation of the NASCAR car.
Yeah, a lot of guys are starting to fall slowly in love with this next gen car. As we slowly get the bugs worked out of this thing, I think drivers are starting to figure out that the car is actually fast, it's actually racy, and it can actually even be fun to drive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, I even say that I like it a lot, especially watching it every Sunday. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, racing it myself, I feel like it's a lot more on edge than a lot of guys have been, kind of saying. But I mean, maybe that's just me. I mean, that's why I'm up here in the booth and they're down there on the racetrack as qualifying starting to get wrapped up here. Just a minute, 30 seconds left here. We're watching Kenny Thompson actually turning some laps out here, and we haven't seen Kenny in quite a couple races, I'd say. I mean, a lot of guys, I think, showing up here a little bit closer to the end of the season. Maybe Darlington coaxing some guys out of their caves.
Yeah, guys coming out making an appearance, and that's exactly what we need. The more the merrier, the more drivers that we have around this track, the more exciting the racing is going to be as we're slowly wrapping up qualifying. Just a minute left here, Brian.
Yeah, right now, Ryan Strunk up at the top of the board, hitting a 29.084. That's the fastest lap I do believe we've seen so far here this week. So definitely been some very quick times out there on the racetrack. Curious if the conditions are going to be vastly different from that Thursday series. 45 seconds left in qualifying here. Let's go ahead and take that step away and pay some attention to our nation's national anthem. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We got the grid set here. Ryan Strunk going to be gridding up on the pole here. Josh Schaffner in second place. Chris Severa going to be starting here in third. Chris Johnson in fourth. Jose Acosta is going to be starting fifth. Kendall LeVron in sixth place. Seventh place going to belong to Kenny Thompson. Frank Flores going to be in eighth. Ninth place going to be Brian Johnson and Don Avery, rounding out our top 10. Do apologize about that, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Olson's going to be starting 11th place. Joseph Plante going to be starting in 12th. And I do believe that rounds out our 12-car field. I thought we had 13. Looks like maybe one guy missed the grid here.
Yeah, I think Joseph Plante actually has disconnected and will not be racing here this evening. He showed a little bit of pace there in practice, Brian, but I think he is not going to be racing with us here this evening.
Definitely very unfortunate. I'm also noticing another one that's not out there on the track. Kenny Powell, who's going after a championship here tonight, did not make the grid. Here we go. Ryan Strunk going to be going up through the gears. Here's the green flag out for the first time here tonight. Chris Severa almost bump drafting going into turn one here. Severa desperate to try to get some positions early as Ryan Strunk going to be able to get a nice early lead here. Looks like Josh Schaffner up on the top is going to be able to secure second place. And everybody single filing out. And that's something that you see a lot at Darlington. You know, a lot of guys do not want to go side by side into turn one. For the most part, everybody behaving themselves pretty good. I think they understand you got to take it easy in these first couple stages. Get that data. Don't work your car. You know, that Darlington stripe, you know, you can get those later. Don't get those right now. Here comes Kenny Thompson. He's trying to look on the inside of Kendall LeVron. Don Avery, big pass on to 13 here. As I do believe he gets by Frank Flores. Don Avery had a lot of pace in the practice, I do believe. Was actually on the top of the board. Surprised he didn't qualify as well.
Yeah, Don had a rough night there Wednesday, if my memory serves me correctly. But look at that, just like the 62 of Chris Severa is going to be moving by the 50 of Josh Schaffner. He's going to be bringing Jose Acosta along with him, and now Chris D. Johnson's also going to be trying to get his name onto the broadcast as well.
Yeah, a lot of battling going on right here. Is you know, guys firing off well, maybe not holding the run as long. But you know what? This is kind of normal for Josh Schaffner. We saw Richmond just a few short weeks ago. You know, he was that guy that really tried to save his equipment. And I think that's going to be his the name of the game here for tonight for him.
But it's going to also be another name of the game, and that is, you know, how do we reel in Ryan Strunk? Because right now the 77 of Strunk is definitely getting out to a commanding lead. He is definitely leaving the field behind. Don't know if that's going to work out for him, because as we did see on Thursday night, once we hit that 20 lap mark, between laps 20 and 25, that's when the handling of these cars really starts to go awry. And some of those guys that were doing really well running out front, they kind of start to fall back a little bit. But that's not being the case here, as Chris Severa and Jose Acosta are doing everything they can, nose to tail, to try to catch up to our leader, the 77 of Ryan Strunk.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I was Chris Severa and Jose, I would not be battling each other at all. I would just be like, hey, we got to catch this guy. But then again, I mean, maybe it's a good idea to not try to catch him. Maybe just, you know, take it easy.
Ooh. And Kendall LeVron really sweeping down to the inside of the field. I don't know if he actually had a loose condition or what, but he definitely kind of slid down to the inside, lost about 4 positions, but looks like now he is going to be rolling again. Sorry, I don't think that was Kendall LeVron. Maybe that was the 22 of Kenny Thompson.
Yeah, looking at his race car, I don't see any damage or anything on that machine, so I think he's okay. But he definitely did lose some positions back all the way to 8th place now. And you know what, Big Al? I mean, I got to say it. Unfortunate. Kenny Powell had a chance for a championship here tonight, and just a no-show. Unfortunate to see that. Hopefully everything's okay. I mean, if it's some personal issue or something like that, that has got to be just a heartbreaker for that 24 camp.
Yeah, you got to be present if you want a chance at this thing. I say you have to be available, but apparently the 24 team was not available here tonight. But you know what? That's not going to stop us from having some good racing. And check it out. Everybody should be able to qualify for stage points except for that 11th place person right now. That seems to be the 43 of Paul Ocean. So he's definitely going to have to figure out what his woes are so maybe he can grab himself some of those valuable stage points as well.
Yeah, and he was struggling pretty hard on Thursday. Hopefully that camp could learn a little something. But here comes Kenny Thompson back on the inside. He gets right around Brian Johnson here.
Looks like Chris Rivera slowly chopping that lead down. Now he is actually, well, he was just sub 3 seconds back now. Just a little bit more time tacked onto that. But man, what about the 77 camp, man? I can't wait to talk to these guys and figure out what the heck that car was running on, because it looks like he's running on, it ain't dope or dog food, I'll just say that.
Yeah, he is. He has got something. I don't know. We might need to check that race car after this race because he is on a whole nother level, it does appear, as his last lap was the fastest in the field. Actually, now that I look at it, Kenny Thompson actually had to have fastest lap last time, 29.999. Definitely a interesting lap there. The only one sub 29 or sub 30. Oh, Ryan Strunk into the outside wall. We were looking to the cockpit camera here to see what a lap looks like here at Darlington, and unfortunately, he grabs a little bit of that wall. Won't be the first time, or won't be the last, because, I mean, that's just how Darlington is. You're going to catch that wall at some point. If you don't, you hadn't raced at Darlington, Big Al.
Yeah, and a lot of drivers are actually talking a lot about how the toughness of these cars. They were comparing it to that Gen 6 car, saying that these Gen 7 cars are so much more durable. Drivers are saying that they actually had made contact with that wall multiple times, and it did not seem to affect the handling characteristics of the car at all. So the 77 of Ryan Strunk, he's doing exactly what he has to do. Looks like now the 42 of Jose Acosta has actually bested Chris Severa, and that's going to put Jose up in the second place.
And what a good pass there for the 42. I mean, he just did exactly what he did. He held the bottom there in 3 and 4 and just drove right by the 62. Nothing really Chris Severa could really do about it, as we see Josh Schaffner under a lot of pressure here from Chris Johnson.
Yeah, like this is a very, very challenging track to pass on. So good on these guys for actually running a single file. I think if they continue that, we probably will see the majority of these laps pass by without actually having a caution. And, you know, if that works out, Brian, I think we're possibly even set up to see maybe green flag pit stops there once we get to that third and final stage. But right now, it looks like we're still going to have 20 laps to go in stage 1 before this thing is done. And just like that, Chris Severa coming back along beside the 42 of Jose Acosta.
Yeah, and that's one thing about it. I mean, you know, the 42 was able to judge himself on the 62 and kind of figure out, you know, what the 62 was maybe doing wrong in some places. But then, you know, once you get out in front of that guy, you lose that thing to kind of, you know, match yourself on. And, you know, Severa right back out in front of him.
And I guarantee you, Chris Severa is probably not going to allow Ryan Strunk to get out to this type of a lead once we do catch back up to him, whether that be through caution or stage break. Because, you know, you're going to have to reel that guy in. You just cannot let the leader get so far ahead of the pack like that. That's not going to be in anybody's race strategy, I guarantee you.
No, 100%. You can see right now he's actually catching him pretty quickly. Lap time wise, Ryan Strunk is off the pace. 30.7 last time by versus Chris Severa hitting a 30.2. So, you know, it is going to happen quickly. Chris Severa is going to catch him.
Yeah, he's already shaved a full second off of the 77's lead. So I'm not sure. Maybe Strunk might have, you know, drank up his Kool-Aid a little bit too fast there or what, but he's going to have to figure it out because Josh Schaffner now also is dragging the 48 of Chris Johnson, and he is pulled up to the back end of that John Deere machine of Jose Acosta. He's probably going to be looking to try to get around him sometime here really soon.
Yeah, he was already trying to do it in 3 and 4, but was not able to actually get that pass completed. I do believe he's going to try to line it up once again here. As
Jose
look at that,
into the
Jose in the
wall.
wall.
That's going to shrub off a lot of speed right there, and also he's going to be the next recipient of that Darlington stripe, if you will.
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, but that's the name of the game here at Darlington. Somehow he does stay in front of the 50 though. So, that's one thing about this track. It's so hard to pass. You could be behind someone that is, that is much faster than you, or you could be in front of someone that's much faster than you, and still you're able to hold them off. But here comes the 50. I think he's got it this time, as he is going to secure third place. Chris Johnson is going to look for any kind of door to open here to try to follow through to get with his teammate Josh Schaffner.
Yeah, but Jose Acosta is going to make that 42 mighty wide. Now, we've been watching Jose Acosta race. He kind of came on here at the beginning of this season, I do believe, and he has been a contender, even having 2 wins to his benefit as well. But as of late, he's been kind of struggling a little bit, not actually been able to figure out that proper combination to get that car back into winner's circle. So we'll be watching him throughout this evening and actually seeing how he fares in this contest, and if maybe he can possibly make some adjustments and get that 42 machine back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of the problems here we're seeing with Jose and even Ryan Strunk is these guys are, driving these cars way too hard early. I mean, this is a track that you do not want to burn that equipment up. I mean, it's a temptation that a lot of guys fall victim to, and you just have to have the willpower to avoid that kind of that driving. You got to hey, let's take it easy for the first few laps. Get the tire temperatures up. Let's take it easy, because I mean, as you all know, as you know, Big Al, we've seen it time and time again. Those first 5 to 10 laps, those are the most important laps in the run.
Yeah, because they're definitely going to set you up for the remainder of that run. So however aggressive you are and how much you save in that first 5 laps, you're definitely correct on that. Is definitely going to show how your car is going to run in the long run. The 48 now making his way past the 42.
Whoa!
And 42 not done yet, because he's got the 28 of Kendall LeBron that's going to be ringing his bell next, trying to get himself up into the top 5 for the first time tonight.
And LeBron almost looked like he was trying to side draft the 42. Was really, really, really close racing. Was only like an inch between these two. You see Don Avery also coming into contention here, as these guys have a huge head of steam behind the 42. The 42 gasping for air right now.
Yeah, and the 11 of Don Avery now looking to the outside of the 28 of Kendall LeBron. He's trying to make his move as well, but the 42 seems to have him stacked up, but there he goes. He gets by, and he's bringing the 28 as well, and here comes the 4, Brian Johnson, as Jose Acosta gets loose coming by the line there at the stripe. Didn't do himself any favors, and that's going to cause him to slip all the way back to 7th, Brian.
Yeah, big battling going on here. The 28 definitely glad he was able to get by that 42, as he is struggling here on the long run. We're 23 laps into this thing. Of course, stage 1 will conclude on 35 going to 36.
And while we were asleep, Chris Severa has not only caught up to our leader, Ryan Strunk, but he has actually passed him, just like that. Strunk falling way off of the pace. Now he's going to be caught by Josh Schaffner, and he even risks going from 1st to 3rd, just like that, Brian.
Yeah, he might even lose even more positions than that, as he is definitely well off the pace here. Last time by, he hit a 31.4. Slowest lap time almost in the whole field. Only person slower was Jose Acosta.
And just like that, Kendall LeBron is going to find himself ducking down to get a little bit of room, but Josh Schaffner now goes by to 77 of Brian Strunk. That's going to put Schaffner up into 2nd place. Chasing our leader now, Chris Severa is the leader for the first time this evening.
And we all know how Josh Schaffner does on the long run. He is a master at saving tire and just showing up when you least expect him, as we see Chris Johnson now trying to get around Ryan Strunk.
Yeah, these guys will be set up for a 53 lap fuel run, and that's going to come into play once we get out of stage 2. Right now, stage 1 still underway. 10 laps to go in this stage before we get it in the books. We've seen 2 different leaders, and right now, Chris Severa, our current race leader, and he has himself about a half a second lead over 2nd place of Josh Schaffner. Our previous leader, Ryan Strunk, now finds himself all the way back in the 4th place, and I think he still might be slipping.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose even more positions to that. You see Don Avery coming up here very quickly. That 11 has been looking really, really strong here tonight, as Paul Olson soon to find himself going a lap down. He's right now 26 seconds behind the leader.
And they are on the same straightaway now, so that means he is definitely starting to see the 62 of Chris Severa show up in his rearview mirror. And you know, as many drivers in this series have seen the 62 kind of walk him down and pass him, that's the reason why he's actually going for this championship here tonight. But the 11 of Dion Avery really giving everything to Ron Strunk that he can handle, and he's going to make that pass, and that's going to put Avery up into the top 10. Now he takes, top 5. He now puts himself firmly in that 4th place position.
Yeah, and Ryan Strunk not done losing here as we see Brian Johnson. He had a very strong car on Thursday. Definitely looking to make that, stick here tonight as he gets right there behind the 77. Not able to complete the pass just yet. Tire wear definitely starting to play a role here. Chris Severa last time by 31.1. Josh Schaffner last time by 31.099. So we're seeing about a half a tenth quicker laps from Josh Schaffner. So I think Schaffner, he's got the long run car. I'm looking to see that 50. He might even be it's way too early to tell, but I mean, he has got the car to beat here tonight, it seems like.
Yeah. And Schaffner hadn't been around here for the last couple of weeks. I think it must be corn season or something. But he is back tonight and in regular Josh Schaffner form, as he is definitely starting to kind of close down that gap between the 62 just a little bit. Paul Osen doing everything he can. He is on the ropes. And I'm going to tell you, with 5 laps to go in this thing at the line, that stage cannot come to an end soon enough for this guy, because he's going to be wanting to go down pit road and at least get himself a cold pop or something.
Yeah, luckily he will be the lucky dog if he does find himself a lap down, so he should still have the opportunity to go get those fresh set of tires. He's going to go drop down to the apron and let these guys go here, so he has now put himself a lap down.
Yeah, that's a smart play. I mean, no need to get into the contention of these guys and make yourself an obstacle if not a factor. So good play on Paul Osen and that 43 team. You know, those guys, hopefully they'll get their bugs worked out a little bit, and he'll actually be able to join us here on this lead lap at the end of this stage. Going to be 4 laps left in this stage. It'll be 3 at the line. Chris Severa doing everything he can to keep his lead. Schaffner not being able to close that distance enough to actually be able to put pressure on the 62. So if everything stays the way it is, looks like our season points leader is just going to add more points to his lead.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunate, we kind of did get a little bit of an update from Kenny Powell. He says his iRacing won't launch. So that has just got to be a just total heartbreaker to have something like that happen for sure. But I'm telling you the one to watch right now. I'm looking at Brian Johnson. He is running down Don Avery right now. I do believe he's about almost a tenth faster than him every lap. Definitely looking to see him work his way up into that 4th position. We'll have to see if Avery can hold him off.
Yep, 3 to go here in this stage. It will be 2 to go at the line, and the 24 with Kenny Powell has populated on our screen. He is now being shown on pit road. Not sure if he's actually going to be able to get in this enough, but, you know, he could actually, well, no, he won't even be able to make it into the top 10 for those points either, Brian. So this is just going to be a bad night all the way around for that 24 camp.
Yeah, 100%. Looks like Don Avery going to go down to the bottom. He's going to let the 4 go. So that's going to put Brian Johnson up into 4th place.
Yeah, Brian now has got his brother Chris D. Johnson up in front, and he's definitely going to be trying to do everything he can to get that 4 up there. Now, I hate to say this because we do have a limited field, but right now it is G&G, 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 and G&G. They are holding the top 4 spaces in this races, and that's just going to work out great for them, as we will be coming to the white flag this time by.
Yeah, and I'm definitely seeing tire wear starting to play a role. We see Schaffner. I mean, he was so good in that mid-run. I think that he's starting to lack a little bit on the longer run. As you see, he got really loose off of turn 2 as they still battle here. White flag out for the stage.
But, you know, you can't really blame that on the 50 of Schaffner. I mean, Chris Severa, man, he's just consummate professional, and he always has his car dialed in. Those guys probably put in a lot of laps here this week trying to get this set up where it needs to be. So, I mean, I think he is just doing what he needs to do. And as long as Chris Severa is smart, because you remember, he can be the recipient of some of those bonehead of the race awards, because sometimes he can definitely be his own worst enemy, if you will.
But he definitely can be. You're right. But I do believe he's going to at least grab this stage win here.
Yeah, that's going to put stage 1 in the books, just waiting on that caution flag to come out. It should be flying once the 22 of Kenny Thompson passes that line, but that puts Chris Severa as our stage 1 winner. Josh Schaffner bringing home P2. Chris D. Johnson in third. Brian Johnson fourth. Don Avery in fifth. Kendall LeBron sixth. Ryan Strunk, the guy that dominated the first part of this stage, all the way back to seventh. Jose Acosta, another guy that was running up front, finds himself back in eighth. And Frank Flores, the guy that we hadn't seen in a couple of weeks, up there in ninth place with Kenny Thompson, rounding out those top 10 points paying positions. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief step away and see if we can't rustle up some words from our sponsor.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, falling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. It looks like we're going to be joined in the booth by an interesting customer. We thought we haven't talked to Frank in quite a while. Frank, how you doing tonight, man? Looks like you got a fast car.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I don't know about fast. I mean, this setup is, another Conti special. It is fast. I'm just still trying to figure this thing out. I've been practicing all week,
Oh, well, 100%. I mean, Darlington definitely a very tricky track for sure. I mean, how have you been staying out of the wall at least?
Hit it a couple of times at first, but just like I said, I'm getting used to. I'm actually getting used to back to triples. I figured half my problem with being slow is because of my VR, and I think it's the blinders on. You know what I mean? They have blinders on, so I'm not getting that tight in the wall when I need to be to get a good run.
Yeah,
So,
100%. You definitely had a good qualifying effort, though. You started sixth place. I mean, you're currently eighth. I mean, you got a lot of time to figure it out. I mean, have you been making any adjustments to that race car?
I haven't done any adjustment yet. Just kind of, we got a long, like you said, we got a long race to go to see what happens. I mean, just really, maybe hopefully the track will come to me.
Yeah, 100%. This is definitely a track that is quite difficult. Well, we just wanted to check up on you. I know we haven't got to chat with you up here in the booth in quite a while, and definitely, hopefully, the best for you. Hopefully, you guys get it figured out in that crew, and good luck to you. Who can we give a little mini shout out to before we let you get back to it?
Well, I definitely want to get out to the country there at EPI. Man, I tell you, man, these setups are really good, man. I went so much from Conti and everything else. I want to give a shout out to Pat Gill. His father passed away last Monday, so I want to give him a shout out to him. With my teammate. That's why he's not here this week. And you guys always be up in the booth, man. It's nice that they're talking to you guys.
100%, man. Definitely unfortunate to hear that about Robert Pattengill's father. Heart go out to him. Prayers for sure. We'll let you get back to it. Another pace car lights are out. Thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you. Guys, have a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, very unfortunate to hear about the passing of Robert Pattengill's father. You know, Robert Pattengill is our title sponsor here on this Saturday night series, as he is the Tucson Sound Art guy. The pace car is down. Christopher now leading us along to that Geico restart zone. Be interesting to see. Oh, just like that, he is out, up, and away like Superman. He is on the move. Brian Johnson making his way all the way up into second place. That's going to be a good show for him. And it'll be interesting to see if Ryan Strunk saves a little bit this time.
Yeah, 100%. But man, interesting decision there for Chris Severa to pick the top line there. You see Strunk actually making a pass there on Don Avery, going to be moving back up into fourth position. But man, Brian Johnson must have had a heck of a pit stop because he gained a lot of spots there on pit road. You see Chris Johnson right there. So the Johnson brothers battling right now to try to stay on the podium.
It'd be interesting to see exactly how much time Brian Johnson did stay down on pit road. I'm assuming that would not have been a 4-tire stop, but he would have definitely had to get filled up with that Sunoco racing fuel, as they would have definitely going to need more gas to make it through the end of this stage. This stage is going to run us all the way to lap 75.
Well, looking at the data here, he spent 14.7 seconds down in pit road, so he did take a full stop with 4 tires. I definitely, wouldn't. Oh, really close racing is Strunk. Oh!
48 into the wall. Johnson's still not out of the woods yet as he is pedaling that thing through the turn. Strunk just came in like a bull in a china shop and head-butted that 48, man, and that definitely caused him to have a little bit of an ooh moment.
Yeah, that was not a Darlington stripe in the least. That was a full contact hit with the wall. Surprised he didn't break the toe link on that machine.
Man. I mean, I know football season started, but come on, man.
Yeah, that was a big hit there. I don't know. I'm sure that Chris Johnson probably not going to be too happy about that. One thing about Darlington, you're never going to be rid of another guy. I mean, we saw how Strunk on the short run or longer run started to really fall through the field. Well, Johnson's going to see him again. I have no doubts about it. And here comes Strunk again. Strunk seems like he did not learn his lesson in that first stage.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that now he is running through this field, man, almost like diarrhea, and he is trying to get up to the front. And I don't think he really cares who he gets dirty on the way, man. Just wow. But here he comes, and I think Severa's probably going to let him go, because if the one thing that we learned from Strunk is he totally blistered his tires, falling all the way from first back to seventh. So he is driven all the way to the front of this thing. But the key is going to be tire conservation, as he is now side by side battling that 62 for what is going to be the lead of this thing.
I mean, the way he's racing guys out here, I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys definitely, maybe throw a tackle like you said about football. But I mean, the thing is, if he is able to survive this race and it comes down to any kind of short run to the end, he would be in really good position, just considering how fast that car is on the short run.
Well, I don't think Brian. I'm going to just say this, man. I don't think Chris Johnson appreciated the way that Strunk kind of manhandled him through that turn right there. This early into the race, I just don't think he's going to have a fond appreciation of that. And knowing Chris D. Johnson, I don't know him well. I mean, I'm not his brother, but I have called races with this guy for a while. I'm thinking he might just actually pay a little love back there to the 77.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Chris Johnson's even still driving out there, just considering how hard of a hit that was on the wall. Oh, there goes Chris Severa, gets into the outside wall in 3 and 4. That's going to give Ryan Strunk the lead back.
And that's going to give Severa his Darlington stripe. But, too soon to battle Strunk. Let Strunk go. I don't think you're going to let him get out to a big as a lead as he did last time. But you know what? Why not? Let him run this thing, man. That's what I'm saying. Let him go on out there. Let him burn his tires up. We saw how quickly they reeled him back in that last stage. And if he doesn't change his tactics, the same thing is going to happen again.
100%. I mean, it's going to happen again. I mean, just considering, he's so fast on this short run, but I think he's sacrificing all these tires. I'm wondering if he maybe even left his qualifying setup on, because he is just running blistering laps right now as he is able to just drive away. I mean, it is a crazy thing to see something like that, but, we all know what's going to end up happening. We see Don Avery, though, starting to put some pressure on Chris Johnson. I'm wondering, I'm really curious, is Johnson suffering from that damage? I think that something probably did get somewhat, maybe knocked around underneath that chassis.
Well, anytime you've got any optional damage in this thing, it's definitely going to affect the way this car handles. And Darlington is kind of this track it's 1.31 miles, so it does kind of lend itself to a little bit of super speedway traits there on the back stretch. But you really got to get down, and drivers are going to be shifting as they go through turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2 on the other end of this track, totally different, where they could actually put the hammer down and pretty much roll through those things. So yeah, I think that if the 48 did have any handling damage, he's just going to have to limp that thing through to the end of this stage. But it doesn't seem to be totally affecting him too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely could have changed it for sure. And one thing about this racetrack, though, is we always talk about when it comes to setting up a car for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you set the car up for 1 and 2, or you set the car up for 3 and 4, you're going to be sacrificing something in those other corners. And so Johnson, even though he might not be showing a whole lot of problems right now, the thing is if he did damage any of that suspension, it could be causing that tire to wear a little bit more prematurely, and it could affect him in some of these corners.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% you will get premature degradation and tire wear on that right front, and that's the one that you're going to be trying to protect here. You don't want to get that thing too hot. You don't want it wearing out too much, and a lot of drivers are going to be trying to figure out just how to alter their speed going through the turners to take some of that heat out of that right front tire.
But it looks like Johnson is able to hold on here as he's following right behind his brother, staying right on the back bumper. Don Avery right there also. Kendall LeVron. Haven't talked a whole lot about him right now, but he's sitting very secure in 6th place. I think Jose Acosta learned quite a bit of lessons here tonight, as he has, been taking a little bit easier this go around. We saw him kind of do a similar thing to Ryan Strunk in that first stage where he drove through the field and got up, pretty close to the front. But it looks like he kind of is taking a little bit easier here as he sits 7th, and it seems like he's content to sit there right now.
Yeah, and another thing that I was just noticing, the 50 of Josh Schaffner definitely finding himself sitting comfortably in the back. So I'm wondering if he is just going to sit back there right idle. There's 20 laps to go in this stage here at the line, and just going to kind of absorb his tire wear, and then if he's going to put a charge down to try to drive through the field here at the end of this thing.
Yeah, definitely could be a good thing to do. I mean, he does that all the time, and we've seen that. There's been many instances of where he's just been kind of taking it easy. And the thing is about it too, Big Al, he's not really in the points championship for the Cup season. Of course, he is in it for the Super Cup season, but I mean, he's gonna be, he doesn't have anything really to lose right now. He wants to try to win the race, and in order to do that, you gotta be there, and he understands that if something happens in front of these guys, or something happens up to this pack up here, then he's gonna be the one that's gonna benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason to push anything right now. Everybody should just be patient. That is going to be the key, because you got to look at it. There's only 12 cars in this field. That means this next stage, only 2 guys aren't going to get stage points. So, and right now that's looking like it's going to be the 43 of Paul Olsen and the 24 Kenny Powell. So everybody else stands to get at least 1 point. You just don't want to take that point away from yourself. So you want to make certain that you're making the right decisions, that you're saving your tires and your equipment so that you can be available at the end of this thing, man.
100%. I gotta mention, you mentioned Paul Olsen, definitely doing a whole lot better job in this stage of staying on the lead lap. I mean, I don't think he's really in danger of it right now, which is good. I mean, last stage we saw him go a lap down pretty quickly, but it looks like he may have just gotten a little bit more accustomed to this track. I mean, this is a rhythm track that is very hard to figure out the rhythm, and I think he's starting to get it.
Come on, get the rhythm. You get the blues. Sorry.
That's some Johnny Cash right there.
Now, Ryan Strunk definitely not getting out, pulling away to that huge, humongous lead that he had there in the first stage. Now, all of a sudden, these guys are reeling him back in, and they're all over his back bumper. I'm just interested to see how far back in the pack he is actually going to fall.
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. And I think the reason he wasn't able to get out to that huge lead is because he had to come from, a little bit back in the pack. He started on the pole. But now he's getting ready to lose a whole tremendous amount of position, because the thing is, everybody in that first stage, they were all kind of spread out. Now they're right on top of each other. So he's going to, as soon as he lets Severa go, I have no doubts he's about to get a lot of positions lost here.
Yeah, he's probably going to follow all the way back behind the 28 of Kendall LeBron because these guys have tremendous pace right now, and they have closed the gap on him. I'm also expecting to see Jose Acosta kind of start to make his way back up to the front, as well as Josh Schaffner and the 22 of Kenny Thompson. These guys kind of, I think they were intentionally laying back. Now Strunk doing everything he can to try to break that draft off of the 62, who is definitely all over his rear bumper. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time before Chris Severa takes that Fanatec forward and just rolls right on by that 77 Chevy.
Yeah, but the only thing is Strunk is making his car as wide as possible. It is impossible for Chris Severa to get a nose in anywhere. And you know Severa, he's going to get tired of this. There it is
right there. There's that chrome bumper that everybody knows so well. And he's like, you don't have to move. I will move you out of the way. I promise you that. I mean, I'm not speaking for Chris Severa. I'm just paraphrasing.
I don't know. I mean, I think you are speaking for Chris Severa because we all know Chris Severa. Here comes Brian Johnson on the inside. Going to be trying to take that spot away from the 77 here.
And, it's one thing, when you have tremendous pace and you're up front. But when these guys
remember what happened, though, Big Al? I hate to interrupt you. The 48, he's really close to the 77. Could something go wrong here?
And he's watching them battle the 4 right there. And the 77 is not doing anybody any favors. I mean, he is not trying to let these guys pass. He is definitely making that car wide. And now the 48's going to be right up beside him.
Looks like the 48 is going to let bygones be bygones here. He's not going to take that opportunity.
Yep, I was going to say he was going to make that pass with little to no conflict. But
the 28, contact!
The 28 puts the 77 into the wall, 77 sliding. That might not bring out the caution. He is now below that pit entry line. He is actually going to go down pit road. Man, what an interesting turn of events for him right there.
Yeah, that was the pit road exit that he got spun down onto, and he's got some big front end damage. And I'm going to tell you
what, and looking at the fact that he actually went inside that commit cone, he might actually have himself a black flag for that as well, Brian.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, that was the pit exit there. He's actually going down pit road as we speak. Here he comes. A lot of front end damage on that race car.
Brian Strunk actually the recipient of a meatball flag. So he actually has enough damage on that car that is actually going to put him behind pit wall for required repairs.
That is unfortunate.
Well, that's one of those things talking about the bull and the horns, I guess.
Yeah, you definitely, you hate to see it, but then again, I mean, I think that, he ruffled some feathers and guys aren't as willing to, let that kind of thing go. I mean, Kendall LeBron definitely, I don't think, really had anything to do with that whole 48 situation, but I think that the 28 almost acted as karma in a way.
I mean, it wasn't a malicious thing, but you can't block to that extent. I mean, the entire lead pack caught him not because he was cute. They caught him because he had actually burned his equipment up and it was off the pace a little bit. And if you start to try to block like that, I mean, yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time before you get the bull by the horns.
Especially at Darlington. Darlington's not a track to be doing things like that. But you know what the thing is, though? We've been talking about that. We needed to keep an eye on this 4 car because the 4 has got a chance to maybe take the lead away from this 62 as he is right on the back bumper right now as we speak. Big battle.
Don Avery also lifting and letting Chris D. Johnson roll by him. That's going to put Chris Johnson up into 3rd place.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that Chris Johnson's still able to have this kind of pace right now. And also keeping in mind, I mean, we talked about Josh Schaffner, who was all in the back and content to stay there. He's now worked his way back up into 6th place. And looking at his lap times, he's faster than a lot of the guys that are in front of him right now.
Faster than a lot of guys. He is one of 2 guys that ran a sub 31 second lap on that last lap. And actually, this last lap, he was the only guy that ran a sub 31 second lap.
Actually just got into the wall a little bit there as he's catching up to the back of Kendall LeBron in the 28. You see Jose Acosta also starting to maybe catch up a little bit here. Jose, I think he has definitely been trying to take care of his equipment a little bit better here.
Yeah, and the 43 finds himself right in about the same situation that he was in that last stage, because right now he is going to have to do everything he can as Chris Severa is dragging the 4 Brian Johnson along, and they are slowly closing the gap on the 43. So I think he will see himself going a lap down once again here before this stage is actually over, Brian.
That's unfortunate because it was looking like it was trending towards to where he wasn't going to go a lap down, but maybe that car not doing as good on the long run. But you see Chris Severa still trying to hold off that 4, and it's so hard to pass here. I mean, all Severa has to do is really just stay in the way of the 4, but
Well,
you
yeah,
see, look at the 4. I mean, he's getting huge runs. I think the 4's faster than Severa right now.
Yeah, well, you can be faster. Catching them, one thing. Pass them, that's something totally different. Now the 50 is also rolling up to the back of the 28. So Josh Schaffner is going to be trying to make his way around Kendall LeBron, and that's going to put him back up into the top 5 before this stage ends. And I think that's about where he wants to be. Now, as we are now 4 laps before, well, it'll be 5 laps here left in this stage. It'll be 4 laps, sorry. I misspoke. I can't do math. Anything over 10, I got to pull my shoes off.
Looks like Josh Schaffner had no problems getting around Kendall LeBron, able to take over that 5th place position. Now going to try to work his way up to Don Avery.
Now, Avery definitely has a little bit more of a lead there on Schaffner, and time is slowly running out. And you see that the 43 of Olsen is no longer there in front of the leaders, unless he's not on my telemetry.
No, he has gone a lap down. You are correct. And also Ryan Strunk is out of the race car. Unfortunate to see that for sure. I mean, if he had made it to the end and somehow survived to the end, I do believe he would have had a good chance if we had a short run. But looking like this, I mean, the way this race is trending, I think we're going to have a green flag run to the end. I don't know if we're going to see a caution.
Well, and as long as there's not a tremendous amount of blocking going on, I don't think we will either. Is a 62 of Severa just doing what he needs to do right now to try to get this thing done. 2 laps to go in this stage right here. And if he can just play his cards right, I mean, he will have his 2nd stage victory. And that's got to be making him feel pretty good here.
Yeah, definitely does. I mean, very nice to talk to Frank Flores there after stage 1, but I think Chris Severa definitely earned a talking to here. But I don't know, though. We might be talking to Brian Johnson as he tries to make the pass into 1 and 2. 1 and 2, as I always say at Darlington, is a game of chicken, and Brian Johnson was trying to play.
Yeah, some guys are shifting in 1 and 2, and some guys aren't, though. But now Chris Severa trying to break that draft. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He's not going to drag Brian Johnson past him. He's going to make Johnson have to try to fight for every bit of aero that he can get if he is definitely going to be successful to make this pass. And now we have 1 lap to go here in this stage.
You know what's really shocking, though, Big Al, is you never expected to say the words that, oh, he's trying to break the draft at Darlington. Like, what? Chris Severa getting really loose out of turn 2. Keeps it together, though, and he's going to drive away from Brian Johnson.
It looks like he's going to have just enough to get it done, as Chris Severa will take the flag here for stage 2. We got to wait, though, until the 10th place car crosses that line. But so far, it looks like that everybody is going to stay in the positions they are. Chris Severa, your stage 2 winner. Brian Johnson coming in 2nd place with Chris D. Johnson in 3rd. Don Avery's going to be in 4th. Josh Schaffner making his way all the way up to 5th. Kendall LeBron in 6th. Jose Acosta comes home in 7th. Kenny Thompson coming home in 8th. Frank Flores in 9th. And Paul Olsen finds himself a 1 lap down in 10th. And with that, stage 2 is in the books, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to take a brief step away, get another word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with Chris Severa up in the booth.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe Mr. Big Al is going to have Chris Severa joining us here in the booth as soon as these guys finish their pit stops here. This is going to be a very important stop, Big Al, just considering these guys. This is the last stop, probably. I mean, well, last, I guess, for the stage. Of course, these guys are going to probably end up having to do a green flag stop, maybe even two, though, Big Al, because that was kind of one of the questions on Thursday that a lot of guys were thinking of. You know, we still have over 100 laps to go.
Still have over 100 laps to go. The fuel run on these cars are only around 53 to 55 laps. So, yeah, definitely going to have to see how this thing plays out. But with that, Chris Severa, this is Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, congratulations to you, sir, for both Stage 1 and Stage 2 wins. Looks like you got that car dialed in there. Conservation, though, seems to be the key, is you just kind of been taking it easy on your tires. Is that really what we're seeing here?
Yeah, it's definitely got to play it easy on these tires. It's almost like a bigger Richmond out here. The fall off after 20, 25 laps is just, you can go hard the first however, but you're going to pay for it the next 40, 50 some after that. So yeah, just kind of playing the long game here. Got the first two stages there, so I think we're going to just kind of play it a little easier now and just try and get the car to the end.
So riddle me this, the 77 really putting down some blistering lap times in there. For a little bit in the first stage, he really had a pretty tremendous lead there. Were you ever worried about that, or did you just absolutely just, say, I'm just going to stay to my strategy and just reel him back in? Was that your plan the whole time?
Yeah, unfortunately with this tire, you can't go out and run that quick and sustain it. The tire just does not have the life in it. So, you can run low 29s all you want, but you will absolutely pay for it later on.
All right. So another thing we noticed is you were kind of starting up on that high line. Are we expecting to see that again? And is you just getting enough drive off on the high line that you favored that for the restarts? Chris?
Yeah, I do believe we seem to have lost Chris Severa. Chris, you read us. Oh, unfortunate there. Seems like we've lost Chris Severa.
Yep. Man, I hope that he did not have terminal issues.
Seems like he's still driving out there. Hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah, I think he's just having Discord issues there. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is our Stage 1 and Stage 2 winner, Chris Severa. Now the lights are off on the pace car. We are doubled up again, getting ready to take this thing green flag racing. Severa electing to start down on the low side this time. And like you said, the key is going to be conserve. And I think that if these guys can do that, I mean, some of them are probably going to try to make it, maybe stopping once, Brian, or you think it's going to be a mandatory 2-stop run?
I mean, I think these guys are going to try to just do one. But I mean, we could see some alternate strategies really play out. I mean, Darlington's a track to where, you could maybe do a 2-stopper and gain time just because of how fast you are on the newer tires. As Chris Severa up through the gears gets a huge jump here. Brian Johnson's going to try to get underneath Josh Schaffner, not able to do so. See Frank Flores up in the top 5 for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, Flores is definitely going to be trying to get his feet back underneath him so he can try to get that car to run. So the key to this stage of the race here, I do believe, is guys are just going to have to take it easy. Now, with that, I'm wondering if Chris Severa is going to elect to stay out front or if he's actually going to fall back and allow somebody else to kind of set the pace for us.
Yeah, that's one thing about it, too. I mean, we talk about 53 laps being the fuel window. Well, Chris Severa being out front, I mean, even though this is Darlington. Darlington, like you said, does have some of the aspects of a super speedway, especially in 1 and 2, where you are on the gas quite a bit, and that could cause him to burn more fuel. But look at that, Brian Johnson taking over second place, and here comes Kendall LeVron going to take over third. Josh Schaffner slowing down quite a bit, stacking up the field.
I think Shopner's just trying to get the heck up out of the way right now. I don't think he wants to push himself as hard as some of these other guys, so he is just trying to slowly make his way kind of fade to the back. But the 4, Brian Johnson, up side by side with Chris Severa, those two are going to door bang. They're making substantial contact, but Severa is going to actually be able to maintain the lead and drive it on down.
Yeah, and I think the reason these guys are racing each other so hard is because they know each other. Brian Johnson and Chris Severa definitely know each other well. They trust each other when it comes to racing hard, as Johnson now up to the lead.
And that's no surprise. I think Chris Severas is going to do that. I think he's not going to go out there and try to run this thing at a breakneck pace. I think he has got to try to save as much fuel as he can. And I think he's going to stay out probably longer than anybody else. This is me telling you what I think Chris Severas' strategy is going to be. I think he's going to stay out longer than everybody else, and he is going to pit at the end of that. Fresh tires, he's going to walk his way back through the field.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. I'll tell you what, though, a lot of these guys getting checked up, and a little bit of a bottleneck was starting to form there for a minute. You see Kenny Thompson starting to work on Frank Flores.
Yeah, Flores has definitely started to have a little bit of a handling the woes as well. Not sure what's going on with that car, but he has definitely not got the pace that he was showing earlier on in the stage.
100%. You see Kenny Thompson getting a huge run of speed. He's going to get by Chris Johnson. Big move there for Kenny Thompson into 22. Definitely letting his presence be known here in the ISCA. Oh.
Yeah, I think you're going to see these guys just kind of starting to fall back a little bit, Brian. Is Brian Johnson the only one on the racetrack running sub 30-second laps right now?
I almost feel like he's falling into the same trap that Ryan Strunk did in a way, because he is driving away right now.
You know, and I think he's just got to be cognizant of the fact that he's running all alone, and that's not good.
Oh, almost some problems here as we enter turn 1. Kenny Thompson side by side with Jose Acosta. Very close racing right now. Almost some contact there as Thompson is driving his way through the field.
Yeah, I just hope that he can actually get by the 42 without those two actually making contact with each other and bringing out the caution. Because I think what we really want to see right now is we want to see the ability for these green flag pit strategies to actually start to come to fruition.
100%. I mean, we really didn't get to see a whole lot of that on Thursday, but definitely want to see that here tonight for sure, to see, it really come to fruition. We'll have to wait and see, though, as we see Thompson now trying to work on Josh Schaffner. Also, Kendall LeVron starting to work on Chris Severa side by side for second place.
I think he's going to make him work for it just to keep him honest. Oh, the 22 getting a heck of a run there on the back of the 5-0, but he's going to check up there. That might cause him a little bit of drive-off speed there coming out of the turn, but I think he's going to be okay as they're coming down the backstretch.
Coming down the mountain when she comes. Here comes the 11, Don Avery, trying to make something happen, but, it's hard to go 3 wide at a track like Darlington.
Yeah, the 22 definitely did lose a little bit of that drive-off speed, and that caused the 11 to kind of want to look to the outside to see if he could actually get the speed up to make the pass on both of those guys. Kind of took him off of his pace just a little bit, so now he's going to be stuck trying to keep the 42 at bay, but still trying to get around the 50 a shot.
See, I think Chris Severa's got the right thing in mind. I mean, he is not letting any of these. He's letting them go. I mean, he's just like, I'm not going to try to fight with these guys, just like he let Kendall LeVron go. Here comes Kenny Thompson. I think he's just going to do the same thing with him. He knows that, hey, this is just like Richmond. He mentioned that in his interview, Big Al. Just like Josh Schaffner came up out of nowhere at Richmond and won the race. Chris Severa's taking a page from that book. You love it when a guy like that who, very, very talented, but most of the time when you see a talented driver like that, they're not willing to really adjust their strategies. But I think Severa, he's willing to look at his teammates, see what he did right, and try to apply that to something else.
Yeah, and as well as running his own strategy as well, because I think when he came into this race, he actually kind of knew what they had to do if they were going to put that car in the winner's circle. And then one of the things is, the 48 and the 42 battling side by side right now.
Oh, contact.
Touchy-feely. The 42 going to bounce off the wall a couple of times there.
He's going to go down the track and let Kenny Powell go by there.
we are officially halfway through this thing, which means we just are on a lap 93 of 184.
Here comes Don Avery on the inside. He's going to make the pass here on the 22 of Kenny Thompson, making his way up into 4th position. As they're going to try to work their way up to Chris Severa, but I think Chris Severa's done flipped a switch now. Looking at lap times, Brian Johnson last time, 30.3. He is definitely off the pace somewhat here. It's Kendall LeVron, 30.1 last time by. He was actually the fastest driver on the racetrack.
Ryan Strunk at the 77 has actually re-entered the race. Looks like he has got all of his required damage fixed as well as his optional, and he is out there now turning lap times. We'll be watching to see about where he's running at, but the leader in the 4 is slowly going to be creeping up on his rear view, on his bumper. But I think, I do believe that Strunk should actually be able to keep enough pace that he will not lose another lap.
Yeah, he should be on fresh tires right now, but I'm just curious how the damage is actually going to affect that machine here.
Well,
wow, look at that. I was thinking Brian Johnson was off the pace, but I think that might have just been an outlier lap here, as he last time by was a 30.112, which actually was the fastest lap on the racetrack. Here comes Strunk. I do believe he's going to be going back down pit road. Something maybe wrong with the handling of that race car.
Also the 43, I think he might be serving a black flag. But also the 43 of Paul Olson finds himself down on pit road as well.
Chris Johnson now putting a little bit of pressure here on Josh Schaffner. What just a heartbreak, though, for Kenny Powell. You see right now he's got a clean machine, but he is right now 36 laps down, and he's holding about the same kind of pace that these guys are right now. Last time by 30.294, and that's actually quicker than most of the drivers out there.
Yeah, old Kenny Powell, he's got to be thinking, oh, what could have been. That's got to be the song that's playing in his heads. But because unfortunately, he has definitely taken himself out of contention for the championship as well as the race. You know, just those internet issues. So, yeah, the 77 of Strunk now coming back off of pit road. But I do believe that the 43 of Paul Olson is going to be parked there for a little while.
Yeah, unfortunate. Paul Olson right now is 2 laps down. Now, Kenny Powell could get that position from Ryan Strunk. They're only, I do believe, about 6 laps apart.
Wow, the 22 of Kenny Thompson way loose there on the front stretch. Got it dialed back in, though, but he slowly just lost a little bit of everything there all at one time.
Don Avery has managed to get around Chris Severa. He now finds himself up to the 3rd position. Tire wear is starting to play a role here. Its ugly head is definitely, problems. Kenny Thompson into the outside wall in 3 and 4. He's going to lose a lot of positions there.
It's just going to be a matter of time before you see the 22 of Kenny Thompson actually bring himself down pit road. His car is being completely all over the place for the last 2 laps. Not sure what's going on with it, but I think he's definitely going to have to make an adjustment or something to try to figure it out, Brian.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. Something definitely going wrong. And the thing about that, the more you hit that wall, the more it's going to go wrong as he hits the wall again.
Yeah, it's almost like once you rub that paint off, it's like a magnet that just sucks you right up there every time you come by. You know, Kenny Powell, no stranger to the wall as well.
Here comes Chris Johnson there. He's able to make the pass on Josh Schaffner. Going to move his way up into the 5th position. But Brian Johnson out to the lead, and he is still running some of the fastest laps on the racetrack. 30.3 last time by. His gap right now, 3 seconds, or actually 3.5 seconds right now on Kendall LeVron.
Yeah, Ryan Strunk definitely has his hot rod charged up as his last lap time was a 29.496. Almost a full second faster than the leader.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, got some fresh tires on that machine. I do believe that his crew got to work on that car and hopefully got it feeling a little bit better there.
Yeah, that meatball's gone, and he has got her in the win. Unfortunately for his efforts, though, best he's going to muster is going to be possibly a 10th place finish here because he'll be slowly trying to catch the counter there of Paul Olson.
Don Avery very much off the pace that last time by. 31-second lap here as Chris Severa, 30.6. He's going to make the pass. Don Avery goes down, lets him go. I'll tell you what, even though Don Avery doesn't seem to have a long run, he's been running a very, very, very smart race out here tonight. I mean, he gets those passes made, and as soon as that that other car starts showing more speed than him, he just gets out of the way. Very
Well,
smart racing.
and also if you look at the lap count right now, we're 25 laps into this run, and that's about the time where these cars, the tires start to show their ugly side, and drivers got their hands full. So that's going to be a key here, because now if there's going to be an opportunity for a caution to come out, it's going to be from this point to, I say, about lap 102.
Also, just saw, I do believe, Jose Acosta just make the pass there on Frank Flores. Moves his way up into, I do believe, the 8th position, or 7th position, I should say. He actually got a 2-for-1 there, got by Kenny Thompson and Frank Flores.
Yeah, I think that pit window is going to be opening up somewhere around 123. That's what we're going to be looking for here. But the Brian Johnson's still out there, and he has been running pretty much consistent laps. He's been fast and out front this whole series right here, as Josh Schaffner now makes it around the 11 of Don Avery. Don Avery, for whatever reason now, he is slowing considerably down, definitely about a second off the pace of the faster Schaffner.
Yeah, he's definitely been slowing down quite a bit here as Josh Schaffner moves his way up into 5th place. Right now, do a quick rundown of the field here. Brian Johnson up in the lead. Kendall LeVron in 2nd place. Chris Severa in 3rd. Chris Johnson 4th. 5th place, Josh Schaffner. 6th place, Don Avery. 7th, Jose Acosta. 8th, Frank Flores. And 9th, Kenny Thompson. Those are the guys that are still on the lead lap right now. And looking at lap times, Chris Severa running it quite a bit faster than Kendall LeVron. I do believe Kendall might be suffering from that same problem to where he's starting to burn his tires up. But I'll tell you what's really shocking, though, Big Al. Brian Johnson, he's been running still the fastest laps on the track, and he has not slowed down one bit.
Yeah, Brown was putting down some very, very consistent fast laps during practice. He was one of the fastest cars on the track. So I'm not surprised that he is actually demonstrating this much pace as well as speed. But, I just think I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to sustain it, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, based on that interview we have with Chris Severa, it does seem like it's something that's unsustainable. But usually I know with Brian Johnson, in that G&G crew, a lot of times he's running something a little different than everybody else, when it comes with setup-wise. So, I mean, maybe he put a little bit of that Brian Johnson touch on it, and it might be, good for the long run, because it seems like he has not slowed down one bit. As last time by, he was only, I do believe, one of 3 cars that were able to run a sub 31 second lap.
Yeah, you got to hold your mouth right.
Saw him get loose off of 3 there, off of 4, I should say, as he crosses on to going into 1 and 2 here.
But yeah, he's doing everything that he needs to do, and he's doing it all correctly right now. The key is going to be, we are going to be still some 20 laps here at least before we're going to want these guys to come down pit road. But I think no matter how they slice it, they're going to have to stop twice.
It does seem like that might be the case. I mean, math not really adding up quite well right now. But I think most of these guys are going to try to stretch it. And maybe that's what Chris Severa's doing. Maybe that's what, Josh Schaffner, some of these guys, Chris Johnson, maybe that's what their plan is here, to save a little gas, save a little tire, and try to stay out as long as you can and try to make it on that one stop. But it looks like Brian Johnson maybe has a different strategy here.
I don't know. That's why we call them strategies. Going to have to let them play out to see what it's going to be.
I mean, you're looking at the stints, though. These guys now 33 laps into it. I mean, we know that the fuel window is 53 laps, so think about that, 20 more laps. I mean, that means they're probably going to have to come in around 130-something here. I mean, can they make it from there? That's going to be definitely a question that we're going to find out.
Yeah, they've got to be shooting for at least 131. So that's 20 laps at least, and then in order for them to make it on one stop.
Looking at the lap times, though, Brian Johnson is starting to slow down a little bit here as we see Chris Severa starting to run down Kendall LeBron. He's about 4/10 faster than Kendall, so I do believe that gap will be cut down fairly quickly here. But a lot of these guys here, third on back, they're running really comparable times to each other. You see Chris Severa, Chris Johnson, Josh Schaffner, they're all within a tenth of one another, so those guys seem like they're on very similar equipment and on similar strategies.
Yeah, this racetrack has changed tremendously, though, as it slowly starts to get into the evening here. The current time at the racetrack is 7:26. Outside of ambient air temperature is going to be 79 degrees. That track temp is going to be rolling in at 84 degrees with winds out of the southwest at 7 miles an hour. Drivers are currently running 36 laps on this set of equipment, which will be the longest run thus far in the race. With this fuel one will be in somewhere around 53 laps. For those of you just joining us, we should actually see these guys coming in for green flag pit stops here sometime in the next 15 to 20 laps.
Here comes Chris Severa. He got right up to the back bumper of Kendall LeBron, but LeBron not really willing to just let him go here. But LeBron actually about a half a second slower right now, as he is struggling very much so. It's so easy to fall into that temptation of driving fast and, you know, getting these good laps early and getting these gaps on guys and thinking that, oh, it'll be fine, I'll be able to hold it.
Yeah,
But
so
it's so hard to do.
Well, here's what's happening now. So the 43 of Paul Olsen making his way back onto the racetrack. So that's one thing. The 22 of Kenny Thompson is actually making his green flag pit stop number 1 as we speak as well.
Yeah, it looks like Kenny Thompson definitely bringing her down pit road. It means he's probably going to be on more of a two-step strategy here.
Yeah, definitely looking like a two-stop strategy for the 22 team.
Hopefully it works out for him. I mean, he's going to have, you know, it'll be a little easier for him to drive on those tires here as we see Chris Severa now underneath. Kendall LeBron makes that pass look easy as he moves his way up into second place. Looking at lap times here, Chris Severa a little under a tenth faster than Brian Johnson. The gap right now, I do believe, is 6.4, 6.5 seconds. So Johnson out to a huge lead right now. If he can make it just another 10 laps and then maybe, you know, pit then, or maybe, you know, maybe another 15 laps and still have this much of a gap, this could be a very good day for Brian Johnson.
Well, yeah, it's just going to be about pit strategy. He's going to have to get in and off pit road, and he's going to have to do it almost flawlessly. Now, the lead that he has right now, this is kind of like the lead of diminishing returns because it's going to go away. He was running real hard for so long that now he's going to be in the same pit cycle with these guys, but they're going to catch up to him a lot faster. And I don't know if this car is going to be handling well enough that he's actually going to be having fun here for these next 13 laps or so.
Here comes Chris Johnson on the inside of the 28. The 28 looks like he's going to be falling back another spot. You see the 77 of Ryan Strunk. Of course, Strunk is 30 laps down right now. Looks like he's going to be able to make that pass on the 28 nonetheless.
Yeah,
also, looking at lap times here from Josh Schaffner, he's pretty comparable here to Chris Severa. I would not count him out.
Yeah, these guys definitely have they've set themselves up for the long haul, and I think that was gonna be the race they were running, regardless. As the lights are now officially on the racetrack, as we are officially, I guess in South Carolina, y'all call this dusk.
Yeah, they not call that dusk in other places.
Yeah, y'all just do things a little different down here.
Yeah, we're stuck in the past. That's for sure. I remember it wasn't that long ago. We still had smoking in restaurants. I mean,
yeah, well, not that long ago, you guys had outdoor plumbing. Yeah, the race continues on, though, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a North Carolina guy, just giving Brian Britt a little bit of, you know, that's just, we just kind of josh each other back and forth.
That's how we show love.
Yeah, the 22 finding himself back down on pit road. I'm not sure what's going on with that car, but I did say, I mean, I said he was having tremendous handling issues with that car, and I even said that I'd be surprised that he would be down pit road sooner than later. So, yeah, what am I doing? I'm just reforecasting Big Al.
100%. And looking at Chris Rivera, he is really starting to run down Brian Johnson. Last time by, he was a couple tenths faster. The time between these two now is about 5.4 seconds. So last time we looked at it was over 6 seconds. So he has definitely been gaining and gaining.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, and right now those tires are screaming. So these guys are just sitting there. But the guys there at the radio are saying, "Hey, just give me 10 more laps or so, and then we'll figure out when we're going to pit." And that's going to be the key. You're going to have to make it for at least 10 more laps, and that'll be able to solidify that you'll only have to stop one more time in this thing.
Yeah, 100%. But still, I mean, even though Johnson is a couple tenths slower, Severa almost loses it out of 2 there, but he's able to keep track of that race car. That's one thing about this track, Big Al. If you lose focus for even a split second, you're probably going to be losing it and spinning around. And so, this is one of those tracks you got to really just be real careful. This is not a place that you play with, because this place will chew you up and spit you out if you lose focus for even a moment.
Yeah, you can't look down, you can't look up. You really got to stay tuned in, because just like that, man. And we see that happen all the time. Guys will look down at something in the car or gauge or something. Next thing you know, you're into the wall, and that is definitely going to be one of the things that you have to contend with on a racetrack like Darlington. This track has changed so many times here tonight as well, Brian. Just thinking about from when we started this thing running into now, we're at lap 125. We got 60 laps to go. I mean, the handling characteristics of the car, the attentiveness and the alertness of the drivers, all of these things are going to come into play here to make for a very challenging evening.
Very much so here as we start to get closer and closer to the fuel window. Soon we'll be opening up, as we're going to see a lot of these guys probably desperate to get some new tires. Fall off has been quite substantial. 2 seconds of fall off for a lot of these drivers out here, which is huge. You don't see that a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, I got you. This is the time of the race where you and I are going to start talking about, hey, that whole drive for show, pit for dough thing. Because here's what's got to happen. Now, the tires are worn. We know that. So you got to get that car slowed down to that pit road speed. You got to hit that commitment cone when you're going in there. Then you got to get just the right speed. Every tenth of a miles per hour matters here. I mean, you understand? And you got to get into your box, square on, and back out. These are the things that you have to take into consideration when we're doing green flag pit stops.
100%, and this is not an easy place to pit at either. One of the hardest pit roads on NASCAR. I mean, you really have to get down on the apron entering 3 and already be slowing down, because it's very easy to miss this pit road. If you miss this pit road, you are pretty much, that's the death nail in your race there, especially if we don't see any cautions come out. But I mean, also, very easy to speed down pit road, get that unsafe pit exit, And like you said, when you're on old tires, it's even harder, because, I mean, you lay on the brakes. That car probably is going to want to go straight instead of where you want it to go.
Yeah, so drivers are starting to go over that in their head now. They're looking at their entrance. They're checking their reference points, because they're saying now we're within 5 of pitting. I mean, that's all we got to do anyway. So that's going to be the key here, Brian.
Very much so. I do believe a lot of guys are going to be starting to head down pit road here shortly, as I do believe in just a couple laps we are going to be entering the fuel window. And, man, we didn't see a lot of green flag. I don't think we saw any green flag pit stops on Thursday, so can't wait to see what this looks like. I mean, how this changes the race, because all it takes is one little bobble, one little mistake from Brian Johnson, and it could change everything. But right now, even though he has been slower, he still has over...
pit stops on the way. The 48 and the 28 of Frank Flores down on pit road right now. Sorry. The 28 Kendall LeBron, yeah. Also the 4, Brian Johnson. Also Chris Severa. Now with this, man, it's starting to make me wonder. These guys are at 52 laps, Brian. We got 55 laps to go. Math is not going to add up on this one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very close. Definitely good. That's going to mean the rest of this race, these guys are going to have to be saving.
Yeah, I was thinking that that a lot of guys had already had it solidified they were going to actually make it to 53. Now we're still 54 laps to go in the race. Schaffner in the 50 is now down on pit road. So pretty much everybody that we had running. Don Avery has made it 53 laps. Jose Acosta has pushed it for 52 laps. Frank Flores has pushed it for 53 laps. Everybody else down on pit road.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Maybe these guys, thought that they could go a little bit further than they could, and they ended up couldn't. Maybe that was, something to where their fuel was telling them one thing, and then all of a sudden they found out later in the run that I didn't save enough.
Well, Don Avery right now is at 54 laps. He is being shown as our current leader. But, I'm just kind of wondering how this is going to play out because we are still with 53 laps to go in this thing. I just see a couple guys coming up short.
Well, here comes Don Avery. He's coming down pit road right now. So that is going to, I do believe, cycle everybody out.
Very interesting. Yeah, everyone is already cycled through their pit. We've only seen one guy that made it 54 laps. So that will tell us that Don Avery will actually have enough gas to make it through the end of this thing without actually having to pit again. But with everybody else, I'm not sure, Brian.
What's really interesting about this is Brian Johnson. Wait a second. I'm looking at this here. It's still saying Don Avery is the leader, but I do believe Brian Johnson. Yeah, he is. He is going to cycle out to the leader. I was looking at my telemetry here, and it was looking like it was a little bit off there, but it looks like, yeah, Brian Johnson is going to be the leader. I'm curious to see how much gap he has on Chris Severa, though. This is going to be really something to watch. I do believe.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that I'm sitting here, some of these guys are going to have to pit again. There's no way they're going to be able to make that run.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. It's going to be really close. They definitely, if they can make it, they're not going to have a lot to actually do burnouts with. That's for sure if you won the race.
Yeah, it might be a coast victory, but I'm not sure, man. We're just going to have to pay very close attention to this race here as we are now going to be 50 laps to go once the 4 crosses the line. Just like that, 50 laps to go here before we get this thing in the books.
Well, now that we have a little bit of a lull in the action here, Big Al, what say we pay a little bit more attention to our sponsors out there?
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, falling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a drama up on the racetrack. We saw Chris Severa struggling to get by the 77. Almost was an accident there. Luckily, it did not take place. But back racing here is Chris Severa sitting in second place. He's right now, I do believe, 3.4 seconds back from Brian Johnson, our leader. We see Josh Schaffner right now sitting in third place. Chris Johnson, he's sitting in fourth. Kendall Levron, fifth. Don Avery in sixth. Seventh place, Jose Acosta. Of course, I do believe Frank Flores has gone a lap down. So, man, if you're just joining us, we just had green flag pit stops. Me and Big Al were just discussing who's going to actually be able to make it here. These guys pitted a little bit earlier than we kind of suspected they would.
Yeah, surprised that a lot of guys weren't actually able to make it a couple more laps, and it looks like 54 laps was the max that anybody was able to go. So I think if anybody can pull off 55, it'll be a miracle and a first here for this evening. But it's just going to come down to be pretty tight there, Brian.
It very much will. And one thing, though, Big Al, I mean, we're always up here kind of, thinking and, kind of figuring out, theory crafting, I guess, on what, these guys are going through their head and if they can make it or not. But a lot of times we're shocked that they can make it. I mean, there's been plenty of times when we're like, oh, hey, this guy ain't going to make it. This guy ain't going to. I know I have. I don't know about you, but I know I have, speaking on myself. I've said that, oh, yeah, I think he can make it, and he can't make it, and he ended up making it. So, I mean, especially about Chris Rivera. He's a guy that I never know whether he's going to be able to make it on fuel or not.
Yeah, I'm just going to be quiet because the things that guy can do with a tank of gas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can stretch that crap till Sunday, man. It's just amazing to watch him do that. But I don't know if he's going to actually be able to pull that off here tonight. Now, he is slowly closing in on Brian Johnson because right now, he has to understand there's 43 laps to go. If you cannot allow Johnson to just sit there and have that uncomfortable of a lead, you're definitely going to have to put some kind of pressure on him because Johnson slowly is making his way around, and he'll be lapping some pretty good cars here momentarily.
Speaking of which, I do believe he just put Kendall LeBron a lap down.
I think Kendall LeBron just popped out of here.
I
think he just flew the coop.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's getting ready to put Jose Acosta a lap down. Won't be long till that actually happens. That's unfortunate for Kendall. Had a great run here tonight.
And I think the 22 of Kenny Thompson is also not being shown in his car as well.
So a lot of guys definitely falling victim to that Darlington curse, I guess you say. The Lady in Black claiming some victims here tonight. I mean, they call it the track too tough to tame for a reason, don't they?
Yeah, that definitely will change the leaderboard if LeBron and Thompson don't come back into the race.
I mean, we have enough laps to go here that Kenny Powell could find himself with some more positions here if these guys don't get back out there.
I think you might be onto something.
One thing about it, it's not going to really mean a whole hill of beans, though, is Chris Rivera. I think essentially he's got this Tucson Cup Series championship locked down. I mean, unless he has a major wreck right now, I think he's got it.
He still has to get past Ryan Strunk here.
Well, I'm just talking about Chris Rivera. I'm saying Chris Rivera, Kenny Powell, it doesn't matter who he passes here. I mean, Chris Rivera, unless he wrecks literally right now, I think in the next couple laps, I think that's all said and done. I mean, Chris Rivera, I think is going to be our champion.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, though, in the next couple laps, he might be able to catch the 77.
Yeah, he definitely could, for sure.
Nah, 77 just came off a pit road, so he's actually got fresh tires, 3 laps on him. So, yeah, Chris Rivera looks like he is going to wrap up and solidify that championship. I think that's going to be the second one in a row for this guy.
And it's just so sad because, I mean, Kenny Powell was so excited about tonight too. I mean, you could just tell, but talking to him the last couple of days, I mean, just was ecstatic. He knew he had a chance for a championship here tonight, and all he was talking about was how close in points he was, and all it takes is him to finish in front of Chris Rivera and win, maybe do better in the stages than Chris, and he would be champion, and just unfortunate for the cars to fall that way.
Yeah, I guess it just wasn't meant to be for that 24 camp. But anyway, we got 38 laps to go in this thing before we do actually crown our new champion. And so one man's, disdain is definitely going to turn into another man's championship. That's just unfortunate for Powell. I mean, it really is. But, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah. Can't be like Superman and fly around the world in reverse and in reverse time, but just unfortunate. You hate to see it. Can't do anything about it. And, hopefully doesn't demotivate him too much. I mean, because he's still a contender in the Super Cup season,
Oh yeah, in the words of Tracy Lawrence, time marked his own.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about 149 laps into this thing, soon to be 150, so just a little bit left to go here. Definitely a lot can happen in this span of time, though.
Yeah, and if Chris Rivera wants to win this thing, it's go time. He has got to start closing that gap on the 4 car, Brian Johnson. Now, Johnson not out to that comfortable lead that he had here earlier in the stage, but definitely still a commanding lead nonetheless. In the 50th Shopner, these guys are spread out so far around the racetrack right now that I don't see a caution happening. I just think that it's just time to run what you brung, Brian.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and one thing bad about this place, for cautions is even if you have a self spin, a lot of times this is somewhat of a self cleaning racetrack. So a lot of times you're going to go down on the apron. This apron is massive, and a caution might not come out because of that.
Yeah, you can talk to the 77 and Ryan Strunk about that. I mean, he just got beat down in the corner and just limped himself back around, and it cost him a good shot at winning this thing. But we'll just see how it works out for everybody.
Frank Flores, he's right now a lap down. He's soon to probably go another lap down, but he's having to contend with the 77 who's on the fresher tires right now. Of course, Frank definitely has had a good night tonight, 7th place. This has just been a race about survival, I'd say. Staying out there, turning some laps, running your own race.
Yeah, the 77 and the 13 currently side by side on the racetrack. Everybody is just holding their breath right now, hoping that this thing can stay green. Nobody wanting to see a caution come out, especially those guys that might be a little bit more favorable in the fuel pit strategy.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised that if maybe a Jose Acosta or a Don Avery wouldn't mind a caution. But doesn't look like we're going to get that, as we've been pretty much caution-free here tonight, except for, I do believe, the stages. And what an accomplishment that is. I mean, to come to a track like this. And, we saw a couple cautions on Thursday, so definitely these guys able to keep it a little bit cleaner here tonight.
So my question is, at some point you're going to have to know whether or not you're going to have enough fuel to make it. So, I mean, what are we doing here, Brian? Are we going to kind of sit and hold our breath and hope for a late race caution? We're going to pit early to throw in a splash and go. I mean, because I don't want to be waiting until there's 10 to go and then having to come down pit road for a splash and go. That's not comfortable for me. So tell me what's the play here?
Well, I mean, if it just depends on if these guys are going to have to pit, though. I mean, you see 25, soon to be 25 laps since the last pit stop that these guys have made here. And, of course, we have, I do believe now, 20, soon to be 19 laps to go. So it's going to be very, very, very close. And if these guys do realize they can't make it, I mean, I'm assuming they're just going to back up off the gas a little bit, maybe try to save. I mean, I would assume all the drivers that are up in the top, 4 right now, all these G&G guys, they're all very talented. They know what they're doing. They're very aware. They always got I'm sure they got the fuel, information up, and trying to figure out exactly when they could stop saving.
Yeah, I think they probably knew also when they could pit and make it to the end. And I think that might have been the math that they were using. So with that in mind, I think they might have just kind of pitted their luck. That's a very good point, Brian. I like that.
Oh, Chris Johnson into the outside wall in 3 and 4. A little bit of a Darlington stripe there for him, as he is actually being caught by Don Avery. Now, Avery should be good to go to the end. He's actually pitted a couple laps after these guys. We watched him go a lot longer than these guys. So if these other guys do run out of gas, Avery's going to be looking, and he's going to be sitting pretty.
And next will be Acosta, and after that will be Flores, because these guys pitted some 3 laps after that lead pack did. And, when they pitted, it would have showed that they would have had 56 laps to go to the end of this thing, and that's kind of why Big Al's math has just been my brain. Mo molasses mouth over here, man. I got to get in where I fit in. That's what I mean. So this math just ain't been adding up for me here.
No, it definitely hadn't been adding up very much for me here either. But I'll tell you, someone has got a lot of pace right now. Josh Schaffner, 30.7 last time by versus Brian Johnson and Chris Severa, both running 30.9. So he's 0.2 faster. Doesn't look like he's trying to save.
Yeah, he's got a catch now. I mean, that's the whole point of this. It's go time if ever, because the gap between the leader in second place and third place, it's just far too big. Now, the 4 is actually coming into some traffic there that might slow him up a little bit, because let's face it, who wants to go a lap down? You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to go a lap down, that's for sure. But at Darlington, it's not hard to fight. To try to stay on the lead lap unless you want to cause an accident.
Yeah, I believe that leader's currently just passing the 13 of Flores, and that's going to put Flores a lap down.
Of course, he actually is now 2 laps down. But he would still be our lucky dog for now, as we do see Brian Johnson. He's running down Jose Acosta. Jose Acosta is about 0.3 slower than Brian Johnson, so I would not be surprised to see him actually find himself a lap down. And that would only leave 5 cars on the lead lap, as we do have 23 laps remaining here now that Brian Johnson has crossed the start-finish line. Man, I bet these guys are not going to want to see Darlington back up on the schedule for a while, because this place is a doozy. And, the definition of it is a driver's track. And, the guys that are successful here definitely have proven that they are drivers.
Yeah, you can say that again, man. And kudos to these guys for actually coming out here tonight and being able to run the majority of these laps caution-free. We've only had 2 cautions, so both of those are results of the stage breaks. But we got Chris Severa winning both stages 1 and 2. He has pretty much already clinched the championship, and right now he is running currently in second place, some 3.5 seconds behind our leader, the 4, Brian Johnson.
Yeah, I definitely would say it's safe to say Chris Severa is going to be the Season 3 Tucson Sound Art Cup Series champion. And, definitely he's got to be feeling pretty good. I'm sure his crew is down there behind the box, on the headset there telling him, hey, you're good to go, man. No worries from here.
Yeah, I'm going to pull a page out of Heighton's book, though, I think Severa is just very happy that Big Al's up here in the broadcast booth instead of down there on the racetrack, because – hey, Brian, we both know what will happen if I were down there racing against these guys right now. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, there wouldn't be nobody left.
Oh, yeah, because I'm telling you, I'd just put Chris into the wall.
Oh, yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we're getting to the final stretch here.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in tonight's broadcast of the Cheerwine 250 here. We are at Darlington Speedway, and we have, like Brian just said, some 20 laps to go. This race has been pretty much, the last stage or so has pretty much been led by Brian Johnson. Chris Severa, like I said previously, did sweep the first 2 stages. And, man, we're about ready to put this one in the books as well, Brian.
That's one crazy thing about it. When we were on Thursday, after the race, I kind of recognized Johnson's speed. I mean, he had good speed on Thursday, and I kind of thought he would come in here and be strong here tonight. And it turns out, old Brian Britt was right.
Yeah, I mean, and you're seldom right, so that's a good thing.
I got to take my small victories when I get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's right now got to believe about 3.8 seconds on Chris Severa. Now, Severa is running a little bit quicker here, but we saw this before in that last stint. Is it going to be enough? Can Severa catch up? I mean, they're about a straightaway apart right now.
Yeah, and we say this all the time too. Catching them is one thing, passing them something totally different, and that would be a late race pass for the lead. So therefore, I don't think that Brian's just going to roll over and let that go. I mean, he's been out front of this thing here for the majority of the evening, and I think he probably wants to take it home as well.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even I don't know. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, if I was Brian Johnson, I wouldn't even be concerned with Chris Severa. Just considering, I would be more concerned with the 50 of Josh Schaffner, because Schaffner has caught Chris Severa, and he's about 2/10, 3/10 faster than him every lap right now. So that 50 is pulling exactly what he did at Richmond, and he is showing up with the speed in the late run.
Yeah, and we still have the remainder of the Super Cup Series to contend with as well. So, I mean, these points are still very, very much alive.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's still a lot of chance. It's not set and dry or cut and dry for the Super Cup, for sure. I mean, he's got to still have a whole playoffs to go, through, and definitely a whole lot more exciting racing to come. As I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to Kansas next week. Which that's going to be a barn burner of a race, I'll tell you. I mean, Kansas, what an excellent track that is.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a pretty exciting 1.5 miles, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, more of a top groove-centric racetrack. You're going to see a lot of guys protecting the top. Guys going to be trying to build that car to maybe run a little bit close, lower on the bottom. But this next-gen car has thrown us a lot of curves in a lot of ways. I think that's going to make that bottom at Kansas a little bit more, of a viable thing.
Yeah, but this car has changed so much, though, since we actually started this season with this car. So what I think a lot of drivers are starting to the car is starting to come into its own. So it's going to be interesting to see, how much more competitive it's going to be this time around. And I think we're going to have more people show up too.
Definitely hope so, for sure. As we see Chris Severa and Josh Schaffner definitely starting to do battle here. This is the battle for second place. Now, this is what Brian Johnson wants. I'll tell you what, this is what he wants right now. If Josh Schaffner and Chris Severa start battling each other, that's going to help him out, because side-by-side at Darlington is not fast.
Yeah, now they're caught right up to the back of Frank Flores, so they're going to have to contend with him as well. As he dragging that wall a little bit, going to cause Severa to kind of go low to get around him. Schaffner definitely going to size it up, and he's going to be trying to take Severa's lead and come by as well. Now, Severa definitely is going to have to put the hammer down now, because Schaffner's going to get a pretty good drive off of here coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, but one thing about it, I mean, just like every other track we've been on the schedule with these next-gen cars, the closer and closer you get to the back end of another car, it seems like it's harder and harder to pass. And I think that's what Josh Schaffner's dealing with. I mean, the handling starts to go away when you lose that clean air.
And 10 laps to go in this thing, and that's going to put 11 laps to go in this thing, and that's going to put a lot of our drivers right at the high end of that sin on fuel. But I don't think fuel is going to be an issue. I think these guys, I think they calculated right. They stopped when they needed to, and I think they're good to go to the end.
Yeah, definitely could be the case here. Looking at lap times, Brian Johnson pretty close on time here for Chris Severa. So I really think that Johnson has the best shot here. If he could just hold on to it, limp this thing home, or not really limp this thing home, but keep, the wheels on that thing. And I think he's got this thing, Big Al.
Yeah, 10 laps to go. I mean, he has just got to preserve his lead. I mean, that's essentially what he's got to do. He's got to be smart, make good decisions, and just kind of try to stay out front.
Yeah, definitely going to have to. But he's still got some lap traffic to deal with here as we see Jose Acosta coming up here in the windscreen here. He should be the last man to go a lap down here, as Chris Johnson is actually he's about 17 seconds behind Brian Johnson. Of course, lap times right now are about 31.6 second laps. Acosta definitely somewhat off the pace here. Now on lap 177, soon to be 178. Clock is ticking down for Chris Severa and Josh Schaffner. course,
still,
go ahead.
lead still right at about 3 seconds there, so that is what we're watching. Hopefully Severa, but I think Severa's just going to he's going to be smart. I think he's just going to stay where he's at, man, and just try to get this thing done. He's got 7 laps to go before he can celebrate his championship, and I don't think winning is just it's worth kind of tearing up that car, you know?
Oh, yeah, 100%. But the thing is also, Severa into the outside wall. This is going to give an opportunity to Josh Schaffner. Schaffner gets a huge run out of turn 4. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to be enough, though. Thing is, though, I mean, Johnson has not been, he doesn't seem like he's been in a saving mode at all. Like, if anybody's going to run out of gas, I'd say it's that 4 car. You know, what if that happens, Big Al? I think I'd jump out of my seat if that happened.
Well, make sure you take your headset off first. Because we're 5 laps to go in this thing, and hopefully, man, that's going to put him at a long end of that. But I think it's going to be right there at 54 laps there. So,
if I was Brian Johnson, I would just try to get up there to that 42 and just try to get in his draft to kind of save gas, if that is a concern for him right now. We'll have to wait and see, though, as he exits turn 4 to be 4 laps to go. Of course, nothing is set in stone until the white flag comes out.
Josh Schaffner making his way by the 6-2 of Chris Severa. Severa's going to be battling down on the inside, but looks like Schaffner's going to have just enough done to get that pass done.
Now, I'll tell you what, I mean, Schaffner has been a threat at all the tracks where you have to really try to save tire. I think, you know, we always talked about Chris Severa being a good tire saver, but I think Schaffner has started taking that crown away. And the thing is about this next-gen car and this new tire model, it seems like that's the most important. Oh, Schaffner touches the wall a little bit, gives it a little kiss. I don't think that's going to hurt him too bad. But that's the thing about these next-gen cars, though, Big Al. It seems like that's what's most important now.
Yeah, but what's important now is that Josh Schaffner do his best, because it looks like Chris Severa is going to be able to drive down on the inside of him. That little run into the wall there definitely cost him just enough.
Oh!
Ooh, look at the wiggles right there on the 62 Severa.
I thought we were going to see the wiggles. I thought I was with my niece.
The 43 and the 77 down pit road. I think they're just going to be getting out of the way here with 2 to go here for the leaders.
Yeah, the only fight that really is occurring right now is the fight for second place, as the white flag should be coming out any time. Brian Johnson has about 1.5 seconds. Is he running out of gas? Look, sounds like he's still under power, but he has definitely lost a lot of time. I think he's saving here. I think he you know, I think he was getting real close. I can't wait to talk to these guys, Big Al, to see what was going through their minds, how much gas they had left. Final lap. Brian Johnson just has to go through 3 and 4. Can he coast it to the victory? Here comes Chris Severa and Josh Schaffner. This is going to be close. Oh, my gosh. Brian Johnson's out of gas.
He's out of gas, and Severa slides through for the victory.
Oh, my God.
If that was not a spectacular finish, I do not know what was. He was wiggling it. He had the wiggles.
He was out of gas. Let's take a look back at that.
God.
You want to take a look back at that? We got to.
That was awesome. You said earlier, too. I think he's out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, and he was the one that really was concerning me because he wasn't saving.
And at this point right here, he is out of gas.
Chris trying to dodge him, goes sideways and almost dies.
But has just enough to pull Schaffner with him. And
oh, my God.
Brian Johnson out of gas.
That was nuts. And the thing is about it, though, Big Al, we're going to get to talk to all 3 of these guys.
Man, it's amazing what people will do to get to talk to me and you.
Definitely a great win to Chris Severa. Did not think he had it in him. I thought Brian Johnson had it sewn up. But Josh Schaffner is going to finish in second place. Brian Johnson in third. Don Avery.
I believe Severa's out of gas also.
Probably is. I think those guys were really close. And we talked about how they had waited so long to pit. But let's finish the rundown through the field here. Don Avery going to finish in 4th place. Chris Johnson 5th. Jose Acosta going to be able to get 6th here. And I do believe he finished on the lead lap. Great job to him. Frank Flores in 7th. Paul Olson 8th. Ryan Strunk 9th. Kenny Powell in 10th place. Kendall LeVron in 11th. Kenny Thompson in 12th. And Joseph Plante did not make the grid, I do believe, but Chris Severa able to win the race and the championship. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick step away and get another brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with your post-race show, and I do have a feeling that we're going to have some really good conversations after this. We'll be right back.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Man, what a finish to that race for sure. We're going to be joined in the booth by Brian Johnson, our 3rd place finisher. And man, you led a ton of laps there. We thought you were going to win there up until the end. I mean, you've got to be kicking yourself over that. Mr. Brian Johnson, we got you in the booth here.
I think he just disconnected.
Uh-oh. Seems like Brian Johnson may be a little upset with the predicament of running out of gas there. Well, I guess we'll move right on. Big Al, you got Josh Schaffner.
Hey, Josh Schaffner, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Man, way to go. You started in second, and it looks like you brought this thing home in second. Kind of fell back a little bit. What was going on with your car earlier during the stages?
Yeah, just strategy there. I had a speeding penalty after stage 1, so I had to work my way back up through there. And, yeah, it was just kind of a little bit of a strategy race of do you go out there and, just run hard and try to, kind of build the lead and then try to maintain that, or do you kind of save tires for, a solid 20 laps and then really try to, just reel them back in. And that was kind of the strategy I had in the first couple stages there and the first long run of the 3rd stage. And then, then ran a little bit harder there that last stage. But, yeah, it, that strategy probably wasn't right. Probably should have ran a little harder there. It just without a full fuel load, you kind of needed maybe another 10 to 12 laps, which it kind of showed that on that 50 lap run there. And in stage three, Chris and I were closing on Brian a pretty good clip there, but without 5 more gallons of fuel, we just didn't have enough time to kind of utilize our better tires here at the end.
So did you guys actually pit? Because you guys actually pitted a lap sooner than the 11, the 42, and I do believe it was the 22. Oh, so why did you pit so early there on that long run? I guess is the question.
Yeah, I was a lap later than Brian and Chris, and we're just looking at kind of the fuel run there. I just kind of wanted to once I hit my window, I wanted to pit and put tires on. Knowing I was pretty good in the long run, just to not give up too much time on that, and I think that's kind of what we're all trying to do. And I stayed out one extra lap, which made my fuel situation just a little bit better, and I could run hard that entire last run.
So you weren't even trying to save or conserve fuel. You're just mostly trying to conserve your tires during that last run.
Yeah, the last run, I was good on fuel from the get-go. I was pretty much just running my pace and trying to save tires. And yeah, we were reeling him in. We weren't going to catch him if he had enough fuel. Like I said, I think Chris and I would probably both say our saving strategy maybe didn't quite pan out with 75% fuel.
Yeah, but I tell you that the ability to actually complete the long run and actually get the green flag pit stop, that was an advantage you guys had tonight over the guys on Thursday night. So do you prefer that longer run where it actually allows your strategy to come to fruition and let you actually pan your race out? Does that work out better for you?
Yeah, I like that better. I guess I'd rather, that third stage. It's really fun having a green flag cycle, and this is a tough place to do a green flag cycle. It's really tough to get on pit road on old tires, and you really gotta be careful on your kind of transition, off a turn, you kind of middle of 3 and 4 to get down in there and get a straight shot in. It's a tough place, but it's just really fun. I like that challenge and the strategy calls along the way.
I tell you, it was awesome watching you kind of drop back and then battle your way back up to the front, especially on that last run as we were sitting there and this race is ticking down. And then when we saw that you actually were going to catch Brian, how did you feel there? Talk us through the end there for you.
Well, I knew just from some of the chatter that I was wondering if Brian was going to be close, and Chris and I had a whale of a battle there. It turned out we were kind of racing maybe for the win there, and I was kind of excited. I got around him there, and then I kind of felt like I might have heated my tires up a little bit, running him down and passing him. And then I think I tagged the wall in the middle of 1 and 2, and he got a really good run and got back around. But yeah, I think both of us probably say we both almost wrecked probably 3-4 times that last 10 laps as we were battling, but it was fun. We were slipping and sliding all over, but I don't think either one of us made contact with each other. It was a good, clean race.
So the tires, when they got really gone there, once you get to be, say, 48, 50 laps on them, what was it like handling the car then?
Yeah, you just got to be patient. I mean, your pace backs down, I think 2 seconds, maybe a little more. And, you just got to keep backing up your entries. You just got to keep it out of the wall and keep your angles and momentum up as much as you can. And, it's just all about hitting. You kind of just got to get through the center and off, because if you miss your exit the straightaways, you just got to respect the straightaways here. You got to hit your middle and get a straight line off, otherwise your lap times will be terrible. But old tires are tough here.
Yeah, man, we hadn't seen you on the track here for a couple of weeks. It's great to have you back. Great to have you back in the broadcast. Congratulations on that second place finish. I know that's got to be feeling pretty good for you coming back out of your hiatus. Next week we head into Kansas, 1.5 mile track. What can we expect to see from that 5.0 Schaffner machine?
Yeah, I'll be here. Hopefully, run next Saturday. Won't be here Thursday again. Unfortunately, just we're busy with work here and harvest approaching. But yeah, I look forward to hoping catch up with everyone on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. It's corn time, and rain makes corn, and corn makes whiskey. So Kansas is going to be the one. Congratulations on the second place finish. Who you shouting out here tonight before we let you go?
Yeah, got to thank Smith Farms and obviously Pioneer Seeds and everyone that helps out there. And I got to thank G&G. Congrats to Chris Severa in the win. Brian ran a great race there, kind of a heartbreaker, but great to see 3 of G&G guys kind of finish on the podium tonight. And got to thank you guys in the booth and Kenny, the ISCA, everyone that makes this thing go around. And and just a shout out, want to thank our farmers. And as we get to harvest here, if you're out in the rural parts of the country with harvest coming up, just be patient with all that big equipment on the road. They're just trying to get to the next field and farm and make sure they raise a safe and abundant food supply for us. If you're on the highway, be safe and just be patient the next 2 months.
Hey, man, always a pleasure to cover you. Thank you for your time. Congratulations again on that second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you on the podium again next week.
Thanks, Al.
That is Josh Schaffner, our second place finisher here. Next up is going to be our winner, Chris Severa, and our Tucson Sound Art Cup Series champion. Unfortunately, sad for Kenny Pound, wasn't able to really come out here and duke it out with you. But still, man, what a dramatic finish there. Did you think you were going to come home with a win?
I really didn't until like the last half of that lap. I saw how quickly the time was dropping there. I just knew when Josh came up to me that I I made a decision at one point to let him go, and then I was kind of kicking myself because I kind of knew, okay, well, he can't catch him anyway, so our only shot is if he runs out. So we were kind of fighting for a potential win there, and man, that whole just like last 10 laps is just like that was incredible. That was probably the best race I've ever had here on iRacing and just in general.
Now, I got to ask about your fuel situation because I know Brian Johnson definitely, ran out of gas in the last couple corners. Like, how much gas did you have left?
I only had like 0.15 gallons left.
Oh, wow. So you still had a little bit of, to gain. Were you saving that whole run?
Not the whole run, but I definitely noticed once we had fresher tires there that we were burning a whole lot more fuel than what we were towards the end of the run, and we were right on the borderline. I just gave Ryan so much of an advantage that first run of that stage. I knew I couldn't give it to him again, but once we came out of the pits, we were like bang on for the fuel. So I was every lap looking down at what we had left, and I was just lifting early, getting into 3, just because that's the slowest part of the track. You got to slow down anyway. So I felt like that was the most efficient way to do it.
Now,
And I
why
knew,
did you pit so early, though? That's really the question because, I mean, it didn't seem like it was really necessary. And when you saw Josh just come up out of nowhere when he just waited one lap to pit.
yeah, I didn't really want to, but at the same time, towards the end of that run, I thought we could have ran 4 more laps, and we were catching Brian by like 2-3 tenths a lap. And I just gave him too much of an advantage on the short run, so I really didn't want him to undercut me. So I just kind of it was a last second thing. I saw him going down when I was coming down the back stretch, so I just reacted to that. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's another reason to stick with the strategy you originally came up with, but it still worked out for you. I mean, you still were able to, lock down the win in dramatic fashion. I mean, I bet you had a whole range of emotions there in those last couple corners.
That's the most well, that's like the most animated I've been for an iRacing race, I think, since I've ever been on this service. And honestly, to do it with the guys that we are, just more than teammates, these guys are my friends on this service, and to be able to duke it out with those guys, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, that was definitely great to see. 1, 2, 3, G and G. Definitely unfortunate. Kenny Powell could have been right up there in that. I mean, man, how different this race could have been for sure. Unfortunate. Definitely got to take our hats off for Kenny Powell because I mean he. Imagine that if we had seen you guys battling for the championship, even though it was as exciting as it was. I mean, it could have been even that much more.
Yeah, definitely. It really is unfortunate because I knew that was just about my only shot at winning a championship, is if, you never want someone to have technical issues. So, it's not really the way I would have wanted to win the championship. And, if Kenny was out there, he would have been honestly the only car I was racing out there. So, like you said, it could have played out completely different. And, really is unfortunate, but hey, we got, that's what the next season's for, man. That's why we break this thing down into 4 quarters every year. So I
And
know he's
also the
going to be
Super
right up
Cup.
there next year.
And
Yep,
also
for
the
the
Super
Super
Cup
Cup.
still have a lot of time left in that. I mean, do you think this kind of makes your confidence a little bit higher with the rest of the Super Cup season?
Definitely I can relax a little bit for the next couple weeks, knowing locked into the next round now. Um, so yeah, I think I might need it because I really fucking hurt my wrist coming to there. I wasn't lifting off of 4, and I got the feedback kind of the wrong way into my hand, so I'm kind of feeling that right now as the adrenaline pumps down. But yeah, just overall, hey, it was a great race. Thanks everybody at G&G for making it happen. Working on the sets this week is probably the trickiest track we ever go to.
Yeah, Darlington, the track too tough to tame. I definitely proud to call this one of my home tracks, and definitely you put on quite the show to make the lady in black proud. Well, man, how are you going to celebrate this championship and this win?
Oh man, we got a barbecue over my brother's tomorrow, celebrating the holiday weekend. So definitely a couple cold ones. Honestly, that's it, man. This team did so much to help me for this week and this season. So definitely going to try and put in some extra effort for Kansas and forget where we're at. I think Bristol. After that, try and help those guys out. See if we can't get them into the next round as well.
Yeah, speaking of Kansas, that's coming up on the schedule next week. Do you feel comfortable there at that track?
It's okay with this car, but we'll see when we get there.
100%, man. Well, we definitely always appreciate your time, and congratulations on your championship here, and also congratulations on the win. Who can we give a shout out to?
Yeah, like I said, Gas and Go, couldn't thank them enough. Kenny for putting that all together in the first place. Um, Vanatech, Apex Sim Racing, Advanced Sim Racing, Team Watson Racing, NRG Innovations. You guys, as always, Brian and Al, really appreciate what you guys do, and Kenny for putting on the league. Really appreciate all y'all.
All righty. Well, we appreciate your time, man, and we'll see you next week at Kansas.
Thanks, guys.
That is Chris Severa, tonight's winner and your Tucson Sound Art Cup Series champion for Season 3. Definitely a fantastic job for Chris Severa. What a dramatic race, Big Al.
Yeah, I mean, that was super, super exciting. Hey, congratulations to Chris Severa for winning that championship and actually on the hat trick for tonight, both stages and bringing home the win at the end in tremendous, spectacular fashion. Sorry about Brian Johnson's luck there. It just wasn't meant to work out for him. But thank you, Brian, for being the most efficient assistant that I've had here in quite a while. Thank you for our sponsors, both Cheerwine and those guys over there at the Tucson Sound Art. I do believe this is going to conclude the Tucson Sound Art experience for ISCA, man. And wow, just a awesome production we had here tonight, right?
100%. I also want to take the moment to, tell Robert Pattingale that he's in our thoughts and prayers about his father, and just sad to hear about that. Always such a great guy, Robert Pattingale. Spent many a night playing, American Truck Simulator with him. So just want to definitely give
Trucking
him a
and
big
flying,
shout out.
Robert. Yeah, whether we're racing, trucking, or flying, Mr. Pattingale's always been right there, and yeah, definitely our hearts go out to him, man, this time for his family.
100%. Well, with that, I do believe we are wrapping up a season and going to be continuing on with the Super Cup season. And we appreciate everybody out there tuning in. And I think that's going to draw us to the conclusion here tonight. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you at Kansas. Make sure you tune in around 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, as we will be taking care of the
3 times.
yeah, for the Butt Kicker Cup Series, or Super Cup Series, as we continue that, as a Clayton Hoffman right now, I do believe is the points leader for that. But make sure you tune in also next Saturday, as we are going to be tackling Kansas, also 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, we'll bid you all adieu, and we'll see you next time.